Let's bring this meeting of the Rotary Club of Greenville to order today. We will have a prayer today. Will be done by Troy Brakefield. Pledge, Larry James. Four-way test, Kami Williams. And song by David Ellis. Everybody please rise. You, Troy Brakefield.
Okay. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Our friends joined around us, our families, our veterans that we recently celebrated. Thank you for the weather turning cold, but not too cold just yet. And thank you for letting us be together so that we may do your work through this organization. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Join me in the four-way test of the things we think, do, and say. First,
is it the truth?
Second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Okay, let's sing a song. Open up your hymnals to number 6. Yes, vegans, we're just getting past Veterans Day. Let's sing this old favorite hymn. America the Beautiful. You ready? Here we go. That could be a her. Okay, here we go. Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, forever waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
Man, that's great.
All right.
That was much better than last week.
Yes. We'll have to sing that every week.
All right, yeah. All right, who's happy to be here today? Anybody in this room happy to be here today? Oh, Tracy's always happy to be here. Okay, I gotta come back to Tracy. I can see. Lonnie's happy to be here.
I don't have anything to say. I just wanted to get rid of this torn dollar bill.
Everyone
I'm sorry. Okay, going in the back.
whatever money we collect.
DJ, anybody back here?
There, you can tell somebody else whatever's going on there.
Okay. Nothing today. Okay. Here we go. Tracy, you're up.
Hi, I've got about 3 things, so I'll probably forget 2 of them. One is Altrusa Tour of Homes is coming up, and I put a little brochure on each table. It's done as a fundraiser, and 10,000 of whatever we raise is given to one individual non-profit charitable organisation, and then anything over and above that is divided between other organisations. And it's a great way of going around seeing some of the houses and things around the Greenville area. The second is to remind everyone that tomorrow night is the comprehensive workshop for the upcoming city plan. Keep Greenville Beautiful will be there, along with various other people. And the third one is the downtown stroll on Saturday, which goes on from about 3 till 7. And again, Keep Greenville Beautiful will be there.
All right. Sounds good. Pay out. Yeah, that was a lot there. You got $4 worth on that one, I think. All right. Okay, David.
I have my sign-up sheet for the Ringing the Bell to the Salvation Army at Walmart. The Rotary Club will be doing that on December the 14th. And I've got several names already. See me. If you don't see me, I'm going to come see you.
That's right.
And also, we've got one more week to go on these $2 a piece tickets to win a brand new Chevy Cruze donated by Britton Chevrolet. These particular tickets, the proceeds go to Community Seeds. Some of you have got some of my tickets that you'll need to bring in real soon. So if you need to buy some more tickets, let me know.
Thank you, David. Bill?
Well, I'm happy to announce that on Friday, between the hours of 10:30 in the morning and 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the Dallas Symphony will entertain 2,500 students from Hunt County.
Wow.
Wow.
And then that evening, they will have their first regular concert. And we are still selling season tickets. 3 concerts for a total of $55. And, or if you just want 1 concert, it costs you $25. Available. Look forward to having you all at the concert.
Okay, thank you, David. No, we're going over here.
I'm just happy I covered my outside faucets before it got cold. It was 70, not 20.
Yeah, we're cool this week. Liz, happy, okay. Lee, yes.
Pardon me, I have an unhappy dollar. Shirley Chitwood had another fall and is continuing to deteriorate with her disease. So she has been in the hospital and has been moved to Briarcliff. So those of you that know my old buddy Byron, take time to give him a call, please.
Exactly.
Debbie?
Well, go Greenville Lions. They made by district and they won area, but they lost Thursday night to Midlothian. And those girls were all, I swear, 6'7". So, but I'm really proud to say that my granddaughter, Jade Sickles, senior this year, MVP all district, and her mama, the coach, I'm about to cry, MVP head coach. Woo woo! Oh yeah, volleyball. Yeah, did I say football?
No, you didn't say anything. You didn't say anything.
I have $2 here. One is just a general observation. My oldest grandson, who's in the doctoral program at the University of Illinois, Champaign, submitted a letter to some conference in China and got accepted. So he's over in China presenting his artificial intelligence letter. Program, whatever. I keep telling him, send me some intelligence. But secondly, we're having a meeting in here at 1:15 on the bike ride, the final meeting of the year. So I would encourage you to kind of leave early. If not, you may be winding up on a committee if you're still here.
Okay.
You're allowed.
Okay, all right, here we go. Last pass through, coming through.
Oh, never mind.
It's so great to be back with this Rotary family. I've missed y'all. I've been out of country for a couple weeks to China, which was fascinating, but it feels good to be home with you. Retiring at the end of December. Our girls at Bowles ISD are going to regionals this Friday, and we're very proud of our girls volleyball team. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Anybody else? I just wanted to remind you that the Deck of Destiny is getting up there in dollars. And you know,
How many dollars?
well, Josue could tell us. He's going to give me a sign language there. It looks like $6,000. No, $600.
$6 million.
$6 million. But even more important is that half of that goes to international projects. So when you go up there, even if you don't win, I think you should contribute to the international. Throw in $1 or $2 would be great. And
Which isn't it only 2 weeks or 2 months till we are heading to Cozumel, right? 2 months. 2 months.
Right.
Got 2 months left to get on board.
Since we've got the Honorable Byron Taylor in the house, he's going to draw the lucky number today. Okay, there they are in the corner. Okay, say these slow and loud.
859039.
Oh, 039.
039.
No, it's not me.
He's just happy to be here. Is it Roxanne?
Uh-oh.
Roxanne, you get it? Cool. All right, I'm coming your way with the deck of destiny. I need a drum roll, I think.
Like my best friend.
I thought Sheila was gonna get a good blow in there for a second.
All right. Pull out the ace of spades. Oh, so close. It was black anyways. It was a 9 of clubs we will never see again. Byron.
Hey, gotta keep it going.
Yep.
All right, back to you, Katie.
All right, so we have a few guests today. Gloria, you have some guests today? No. Well, Ellis said you did. Huh? Bob, you are not a guest. We own you, sorry. You're part of it. Well, I don't know if Dr. Sweeney just came today, or you have a guest.
I do have a guest, actually. Gordon, if you'll please stand. Gordon
Okay.
Jordan,
That's what it was.
our middle school principal, and glad to have him with us today.
Okay, I also have two guests today. I have Byron Taylor and Deanna Bird from the Chamber of Commerce, because we're about to party down with the Chamber. So they're scoping the place out, and I wanted to make sure that they stayed and had our awesome lunch. And then I'm going to move on right now, and I'm going to allow David to introduce his guests in just a moment. But I would like to remind you that,
Teaser.
It's okay. Don't you want to do it right now?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
He was already. You're done.
He's teasing.
I've got some special guests with me today. Robin, would you assist your father? First, I want to introduce Robin Andrews. Robin is a dear friend of mine, and she's got her father with her. His name is Mr. Robin Denny. Marvin Denny, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Now, let me tell you something. He doesn't know about this. He just knows that he was going to come to lunch with David and Annette. Didn't know it was going to be a Rotary meeting or anything else. But I have had Marvin on my mind for quite some time. And I want to give recognition where recognition is due. Marvin joined the Army when he was 16 years old. And he was able to do that because his father misrepresented his age. He's passed, so the statute of limitations has run out on that. Told everybody that he was 17 and allowed him to join the Army. Marvin became a crew chief on a Huey helicopter, went to Vietnam. He got shot down 3 times in 1 month. Marvin has told me about coming back from missions and the helicopter be full of holes. Nothing critical was hit. There was no oil spurting everywhere. The rotors were still turning. The engines were still going. They will put the Army's version of duct tape on the holes and they go back out and fly again. Well, in those 3 crashes that he had in 1 month, he got injured. And he also was injured while he was working at Boeing Aircraft. He was a crew chief, learned to be an aircraft mechanic. He's had more surgeries than I know about on his back, initiated by these crashes into the Vietnam jungle. That's not all. He's been shot twice. This man is a Purple Heart recipient. He served our country. While he was in Vietnam, he served with the 4th Aviation Battalion, which was attached to the 4th Infantry Battalion, which did a lot of the dirty work on the ground, and that's what he did. He has many, many commendations, some of which we're not able to identify because we don't know what they are, but I know that he's got the Good Conduct Medal, 3 Vietnam Air Medals, a Humanitarian Award, and of course I mentioned the Purple Heart. And Marvin, we appreciate your service. I've been in the service, but I've never had a shot fired at me in anger like he has. The Rotary Club of Greenville, Texas wants to recognize Staff Sergeant Marvin Denny for meritorious service to our country. Your bravery under fire represents the best of our nation's men and women. Thank you for your service. May God continue to bless you.
Thank you. Okay, just a reminder to everybody, next Thursday on the 21st is our Business After Hours event that is here. This is a combination event with Rotary and the Chamber. So please make sure it starts at 5 o'clock from 5 to 7 here at the Landmark. Wear a Rotary t-shirt. So any Rotary t-shirt or shirt that you have, it can be from past polio events, it could be from past international travel, the Cozumel shirts we have. We want to make sure to show the breadth of all of the different things that Rotary does and how we're involved in all kinds of events. Okay, now, do you want to present or do you just want me to? Okay.
Oh, no, the program. You do the program.
Okay. I am going to now invite Katie Huntsman from Carter Blood Care up here. She is going to be our presentation today. And she was also the individual that I worked closely with to get our bus to come out, the bus that came out right at the beginning of the haunted house. So on a Saturday night, she worked really, really hard to get that for us because we didn't actually have that slot originally. And so she remembered, I said I wanted it on that weekend, and she worked really hard to get us the Carter Blood Care bus to come out in conjunction with the haunted house because, I mean, you know, blood all over us, blood in the bus, it worked out perfectly. So I am going to turn it over to you.
All right, you guys will have to, is this mine? Let's see. Hello. Okay, maybe. Let me stand up here. You'll have to forgive me. I spent the last week volunteering, hosting a Christmas market in Plano, Texas that brought in 14,000 people from across DFW, so I'm a little hoarse. But we're going to get through this today. I'm back in the world of blood donation this week, so getting back into it. My everyday job. Again, I'm Katie Huntsman. I am a donor recruitment consultant, and I am employed by Carter Blood Care. Carter Blood Care is the community nonprofit blood center that services all of DFW, including the local hospital here, Hunt Regional Medical Center. Again, we are a not-for-profit organization. We exist to ensure that hospital patients get the blood products that they need when they need it at the right time. We're guided by a volunteer board of directors, and we are licensed by the FDA. So everything that we do is licensed by the Food and Drug Administration. So the blue area on the screen is our service area. It does go pretty far east and down south past Waco. So we service all the hospitals in the counties listed and also collect blood in all of those areas. And our mission is to save lives by making transfusion possible. So what does Carter Blood Care really do? Carter Blood Care gives lives to individuals and families. 3 of the people on this screen I chose specifically because I built relationships with those people throughout my tenure at Carter Blood Care. In the top left-hand corner is Connor. Connor is a leukemia survivor, and he would not be a leukemia survivor if it wasn't for blood products that he received during his treatment during chemotherapy and cancer. He is from McKinney, and he is living today due to blood donors. In the top right-hand corner, that is Nina. Nina suffers with sickle cell anemia, and she is 10 years old and has received over 100 transfusions in her lifetime. So again, all of these come from volunteer blood donors. Blood cannot be made or manufactured. It has to be given freely by a volunteer. So it would not be possible for these people to live their life if it wasn't for volunteer blood donors. The person on the bottom is very special to me. That is my dad. My dad was diagnosed with liver cancer in January of 2015. He lived until September of 2015 only because of blood donors. And so that's how I got involved with Carter Blood Care. After he passed away, I said, you know, I really have to do something to give back and I found Carter Blood Care, and I told him my story, and I went to work. And I haven't stopped a day since because I work every day in my dad's honor. So why do we give blood? 1 pint can save 3 lives. 1 in 3 people will need blood in their lifetime, and 1 in 7 patients admitted to the hospital requires a blood transfusion. So you never know when it's going to be you, your neighbor, your family member that's going to need that. A lot of times when I'm out talking to people and encouraging them to donate blood, I get a lot of pushback. It's normal, you know, I mean, not everybody is eligible, but some people may say that they're scared of needles. I mean, no one likes a needle stuck in their arm, right? So I always tell them, you have to think about the real reason why you're doing it. What is on the other end of that needle being stuck in your arm? Some people say, well, I might have too much to do today. I'm too busy. It takes an hour of your day to stop and get blood. So out of the 24 hours you have, you can take 1 hour to save a life. Some people may say, well, no one's ever asked me. Well, that's what I'm encouraging you guys to do is if you know somebody that's not a blood donor, encourage them to do so. I ask people every day to give blood. Some people say that I've checked that box, I've done that. Guess what? You can give blood every 56 days. So if you've checked that box and it's been 56 days, it's time to go again. Regular blood donors are so important. If everyone that gave once would give again, we would never have a blood shortage. So I encourage you to be not just a once a year donor, be a regular donor and go every time you are eligible. Some people think that because of the medicines they take, they may not be able to give blood. Please check with us because a lot of those medicines, you are eligible to give blood. You don't know until you ask, so we encourage you to ask. And then also, something that's changed recently is if you've gotten a tattoo, as long as it was done in a licensed facility, you can donate the very same day. If you completed it in your garage, we're going to have to make you wait a year. So I tell high school students all the time, because they're the ones that are really the ones getting the tattoos, unfortunately, but they all want to know if they can donate if they got a tattoo. And I'm like, as long as you didn't get it done in your garage, you're going to be okay. This slide shows our time of need. So 20% of our blood supply comes from high school students across the DFW Metroplex and really across the nation. You can start donating blood when you're 16 years old, and that's our future donor base for the rest of their lives. Our older donor base is aging out due to medicines they take, and those are people that have donated their entire life. So we are really focused on our younger generation and trying to encourage them to be blood donors in the high schools and also on college campuses. So when they are out of school, that matches what's up here. So they are not in school the first week of January normally, in the summer, and then around the holidays. So we see a dip in the blood supply during that time. So if you guys are ever interested in hosting a blood drive or in your community, at your church, within an organization that you're involved in, these are the times where I'm going to ask you to host first, because these are the times when we're short. All the other times matter too, because blood is a product that's always needed, but these are the times where we struggle. I have to say though, right now we are struggling because we're fighting with that young generation to try to figure out how to entice them to donate. They are busy, they have a lot going on, so we are experiencing a shortage now, which is kind of weird, but we're going into Thanksgiving. So with that shortage we have now, on top of the shortage that we're going to get in the week of Thanksgiving, we're going to struggle around the holidays this year. And it's very hard to have to tell a hospital, we don't have that unit right now. You're going to have to hold off on that elective surgery. Or we don't have that unit right now. We're going to have to call another blood center and try to find it. So that's the thing. That's the conversations we don't want to have with patients and hospitals. So who can donate blood? You have to be 17 years old without a parental consent. If you're 16, you have to have a parental consent. There is no upper age limit to donating blood. You have to be feeling well and healthy at the time of your donation, and you need to weigh at least 110 pounds and come with a photo ID. So depending on your blood type, you may be asked to give a certain type of product. So if you know your blood type, you can look up there on the screen and see what you might be a good candidate for. Now that changes from day to day based upon what we have on our shelves available for the hospitals or what the situation is. If you're on our donor list, we may call you and say, hey, we have a patient that matches your antibodies. Can you go in and give platelets today? And that may not match the blood type up there, but most of the time, if you are the blood type listed, we're going to ask you to give those products. If you don't know your blood type, a good way to learn is to donate blood. So the need for blood, there's a constant need for blood donors because red cells expire after 42 days. They are good on the shelf for 42 days. Plasma is good for a year frozen, and platelets are stored at room temperature and must be used within 5 days of the donor giving them. So platelets are that product that are most needed. Most of the time you have to go to a donor center to get those because it is a longer process, but in 5 days those have to be used. So if you think about it, we take it back to our center, we test it, we label it, and get it out to the hospital on the second day. So really it only has like a 3-day shelf life once we get it to the patient. So how many red cells are needed? Our blood products are needed for different types of medical treatment. As you can see on the screen, it's quite a lot. My sister is a kidney transplant recipient, and her surgery was delayed a day, 24 hours, because they did not have her blood type on the shelf when she was scheduled to go into surgery. So not only does it happen when you write it when you need it, but it can delay something that is scheduled because of non-availability. I always like to say this is how popular you are. 1% of the population is AB negative, and most donors are O positive. I'm not going to ask your blood type because it's covered under the HIPAA rule or law or whatever you want to call that, but you know what, if you know what you are, you can see what the needs are there. O negative is the universal blood donor. If you are O negative, I would like you to give every 56 days because your blood can be given to anyone in a time of an emergency. So if you're taken to the hospital and the hospital does not have your blood type on file, you're most likely going to get an O negative unit. And so the O negative unit shelf at Carter Blood Care is always wiped out because that's what the hospitals want on hand at all times. And this is just a really complicated chart about who can give to who and who can receive from who. I'm happy to send this out so you can look at it more closely. So the 4-step donation process, how many of you have ever given blood? Nice. Oh, awesome. So you're going to come in, you're going to take a medical history questionnaire. Something new that we're offering is you can take that before you come in to donate. So we have a Carter Blood Care Quick Screen app now, and anytime you have an appointment to give, when you wake up in the morning, the day of your appointment, you can take your questions before you even come to the blood drive, which will save you time when you get there. We do a mini physical. We check your pulse, blood pressure, temperature, and your red cell count. The actual blood draw is the shortest part, thank God, because that's when the needle's in your arm. And then we're going to give you some drinks and snacks, and the big thing is to make sure you schedule your next appointment. We are working on a project called Thank the Donor, and Hunt Regional just reached out to us to adopt this project. And so basically when a donor or when a recipient receives a blood transfusion, there will be a green tag that's shaped like a heart on their unit. They can scan that unit and type in a message that can go back to the blood center to thank the donor. And we'll be able to send that message out to the donor that gave that unit. So it ties the patient to the donor, and I look at it as, guess what, if that donor gets that message, guess where they're going? To donate blood, because they just got a message that says, hey, thank you for what you did, you saved my life, now I'm going to go give again when I'm eligible. So we're really excited about that. So our up-and-coming blood drives in Greenville, if you want to take a picture of this screen or write something down, Friday, Kami is here. We have a blood drive Friday morning at GEUS. After that, the bus will go down to Berkshire's and be there for the afternoon. And then the rest of the dates through the end of the year are there on the screen. We have a rotation site at Hunt Regional Medical Center the first Monday of every month, unless it is a holiday. So you can always find us there. And then we're throughout Greenville and the surrounding area quite a bit. I would encourage you guys to get involved in some of these blood drives, or if you want to host on your own at your business, let me know. I'm happy to help you with that. If we can bring in people to your business, because we will call on our donor base and bring them in to donate there. People in Greenville are hungry for a place to donate because there is not a local donor center. They have to drive to Mesquite or Garland to give, and so they're always looking for a place locally to give, and so we make sure we're here quite often. So if you want to, you can visit carterbloodcare.org. That is where you can type in your zip code if you're looking for a place to donate, and you can find a place on your schedule or within the close to where you live to give. And then you can also call us. And then if you're interested in hosting a blood drive, you can just talk to me. I'll be happy to help you with that. All right. Any questions?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there still a ban on donating blood if you lived in Europe?
Yes, ma'am. Unfortunately so. I wish they would change that, but I don't foresee it in the future changing.
Lived in Europe.
She asked if you lived in Europe and during the...
2003.
It's during the mad cow epidemic in Europe. You're not eligible to donate because there's no test to prove that you have that. It's according to what the FDA says. So I get that question everywhere I go, and I just want to be able to tell people it's changed, but unfortunately it hasn't.
What about hepatitis?
Hepatitis A is okay, B and C are not.
Do you ever discover that there might be something going on with the donor at the time and they don't know it? Do you ever notify them?
Yes, so that's a very good point. We do your health history questionnaire, your blood pressure, your pulse, your non-fasting cholesterol, and I have had people come to me and say, I got a letter that says, go see your doctor, something is up. I actually had a friend who didn't know he had high cholesterol until he donated blood, and then he started going to the doctor on a regular basis. So we do catch things that people who don't go to the doctor on a regular basis, we do find things that we will notify them about.
Is Carter Blood Care considered a nonprofit, or?
They are. Mm-hmm.
As opposed to some of the other blood centers that are profit?
Right, right.
Interesting, okay, I didn't realize.
Yes.
Are there some common medicines that people take
that disqualify you? One of the biggest ones are a blood thinner. Blood pressure medicines do not. I can give you guys a list. Most of them don't. The big one is a blood thinner, and for the younger generation, it's Accutane is the one that gets them the most.
What about insulin?
If you are diabetic, you can give as long as it's under control and managed.
What is that Accutane?
It's an acne medication. Yes, sir.
You want to tell us about the competition between District 5810 and the Fort Worth District as far as Rotary is concerned?
So I hear there's a competition. I don't know a lot about it, but they do report those numbers, I think, at some conferences that you go to see who brings in the most units. So anytime you guys are associated with a blood drive and help recruit donors and bring in units, we track that. And that goes in that 5810 bucket against your counterparts over in Fort Worth. I do know that you got credit for the Haunted Landmark, and if you guys ever want to tag on to any of the existing blood drives in the area, I'd be happy to help you guys do that.
Well, if I go to Brookshire's Friday after,
I think we got 13, but that was the first time we were here, so we're going to build upon that next year. I think we've got work to do, but we can do it.
So
if I go to Brookshire's Friday afternoon and donate blood, how will that enter into this Rotary District competition?
But as a Rotary member for juice, then how could we do that?
So Rotary would actually have to get behind the blood drive and be there in supporting that. So if you wanted to set up a table at Berkshire's to help recruit, you guys are competitive. So if you wanted to set up a table at Berkshire's and help bring people into the blood drive, I could give you guys credit for that blood drive.
Even when you go to the hospital on the regular Monday or monthly donation, so just tell them
Yes.
if you're a Rotarian or whatever, credited to Rotary, they will do so right there on the spot.
Right. I can send Katie also the sponsor number. It's just a code for Rotary that you guys can tell the staff at the blood drives that you want your credit to go to Rotary as well.
And is there anybody sponsoring the one on December 21st, which is in the time frame that you need the most blood anyway?
Where was that one?
That was at Greenville Promenade.
No one sponsors that one.
Oh.
There's one on Friday at Juice, Katie.
We could do, Juice is already sponsoring it.
I know, but she said.
But if you'll send people there, I can link you guys up with that one. We just want to make sure that you guys are actually getting people there to give.
And I checked yesterday, we have open slots.
She's correct.
Just saying. I have one. Actually, something I want you to talk about in relation to Juice and all of these that I have listed here. Something that I did not know you did, and when we were working on getting the bus for Rotary at the Haunted Landmark, talk about the phone system that you have that when you do schedule it.
Right. So we have a system where if you guys schedule a blood drive anywhere in Greenville, your business, your church, here at the Haunted Landmark, we can call upon all of our registered donors in the Greenville area zip codes and invite them to give at your blood drive. What I like to do is have somebody record a call, have it be a voice. You're calling that donor and you're asking them to come into the blood drive to give. So you have access through Carter to all of our donors that are registered in our system in this area. And sometimes we even bounce out to like Quinlan and Lone Oak to try to draw those people here to give. So feel free to talk to me about that if you want to host. And I'm happy to set that up for you guys.
And you said that was about 3,000 donors just here in
It
this
is.
area.
That's what I said. They are hungry to give in this area because there's not a standalone center.
That's just amazing.
Yes. But we miss them. So, we miss them. If we miss them on Friday, hopefully they'll come on November 25th or one of the next drives. It was my honor to be here today. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'll stick around for a few minutes. And thank you so much for all that you do.
Yes. Thank you, Katie. And great name, by the way. Okay, couple little announcements that I need to make. One that was expressed up to me in the middle of that little thing. Please make an announcement. Haunted Landmark expenses are due by this Friday, November 15th, the Josue. If you do not get any of your receipts of things you purchased for the Haunted Landmark to Josue by this Friday, it will be considered a donation. Please also make sure to fill out the community service logs on your table. Everybody's out doing all kinds of things, especially this time of year, so please make sure to note that. And I also would like to ask as many of you as possible on next Thursday, I'll announce it again next week, but as many as possible, show up here next Thursday at the Landmark, as close to possible, 2, 3 o'clock, help set up the tables, help with the food, help with decorations, anything and everything we can possibly do to make this production really amazing. I want to make sure that Rotary is highlighted and spotlighted at this event, and that we have as many Rotarians here as possible. Okay, anything else we need to bring before Rotary today?